Let's Get Spooky! Hey Fiends, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Leanna Vamp.
And I'm Ashley Jonkus.
And on today's episode, we are talking about possessions. It's spookier when we whisper it, right?
It is. It feels like it's inside of us.
And just like every other episode, I always say that I'm terrified of the thing that we're talking about, but this is actually, I would say, on my worst fear list. This is number one. I am absolutely terrified of being possessed, and this is like a lifelong culmination of it's reached its final peak. And I know exactly why I'm terrified of it, but how do you feel about possession?
I don't really want to be possessed. Like, that's not my jam. I feel like I've said in numerous podcasts before, I'm like, I've got a lot of shit to do. I don't need another human inside of me to tell me what I need to do. Like, I know who I am. I don't need a demon, frankly. Like, I'm good.
I feel like possession would be a very big inconvenience.
It would, and it's ironic because the places that I want to go most are probably hella spoiled with demons waiting to get inside.
But I think that there's like super haunted places, and then there's those things coming home with you and possessing you. So like there's a fine line of like, you can still go do those things and enjoy those things and just be very aware and be like, hey man or woman, you're not allowed to come home with me. Or cat or whatever spirit you say here, I'll go away. But for me, I think that it's a little bit of a fascination with possession because I find it to be very interesting in the fact that it's usually like a religious thing where it comes from. Yep. So sometimes you're wondering, is this actually a thing? Is that really what happened? Or is there some other sort of like phenomenon that explains it?
I think it's a misunderstood entity that we just can't comprehend because I think that we just don't understand what a soul is yet. Mm-hmm. And so like when we're dealing with like haunted items, haunted things, haunted places, entities, spirits, we don't really know what that is because we don't entirely know exactly what a soul is and how that carries beyond.
It's not like a textbook definition of something that we can understand.
Yeah. So in terms of religion, you're just like, yeah, people have souls and they don't explain it.
Yeah. I think you think about like way back in the day when there was possessions, and it was before there was like things that were diagnosed like schizophrenia or mental disorders or anything like health related where people they didn't have the knowledge and they didn't know what it was. So rather than being like, oh, she might have some sort of thing wrong with her brain, it was like possessed.
Yeah, they're going to strap you to a bed and they're going to like throw holy water at you and be like, you have been relieved of this bullshit.
Or like drill a hole into your brain and be like, we're going to expel the demons. Like, I get that because if you don't understand something, you relate it to something that you do understand. Mm-hmm. The Bible, religion, spirits, demons, things that you've been told about. So I totally understand it, but I feel like in preparation for this episode, I did a lot of research and watching of movies. Me and Netflix were like this for the past couple of days. And there was so many things that I watched where I was like, I wanted it to feel more real than it was. But then when you take a step back, you're like, well, they were probably just schizophrenic.
But have you ever been in the presence of someone who has been schizophrenic, or one to the point where they're mad where you think they are possessed? Because I've been around people who are fucking crazy. Yeah. And I'm like, there's something crazy in you. But I feel like it's some chemical imbalance.
Right.
Versus a possession, which is different. It's like another being overtaking you.
I have never been in the presence of someone that has been possessed or schizophrenic or like a mental disorder. I mean, I've been around people that have had like a mental breakdown where you just freak out or you cry or you scream or like I have.
We've all been there.
Yeah. But I don't immediately jump to like, oh, they're possessed. I just think, well, they got a lot of shit going on in their lives. They're freaking out.
Yeah.
But when you read stories about people like speaking in tongues or doing things that are crazy, unexplainable, like
they like bend backwards and contort and they do these things and they spit blood from their like fingernails and shit. And you're like, okay,
no, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, this is not ideal.
But to do those things and then like where you're talking about like the contortion and stuff, when they do that, but any normal person, if you were to bend that way, you would break your back.
Yep.
But they can do it and they're fine. Or they speak an old Latin language that is no longer spoken. Like, how do you...
Which is something I've always wanted to this day to learn how to do at a bar when a guy hits on me. Like, I feel like, that's the quintessential thing when you're alone at a bar and you're like, I just want to have a drink because, like, I'm going through some shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is the best way to get rid of someone? And it would be to spin around, roll your eyes back, speak in tongues, contort your body, and no one wants to mess with that.
But I think it just depends on the person, because if it were me, I'd be like, tell me more about yourself. I want to know more about you.
That's when my head would spin around and be like, no,
I'd be like,
I'm
okay,
going to the bathroom.
Maybe something's wrong with her. Yeah. So usually we talk about a show or movie that we like, dislike, love, hate. That has to do with our topic. Is there anything that you watched recently?
Well, so I'm weird because I like the classics and shit. And I have always been interested in the controversy with kind of like The Shining, where it was like the movie versus the book, because in the movie, and hopefully everyone has seen it, so I'm not going to explain what it's about. But
if you haven't, something's wrong with you. Do your homework.
So anyways, we all know the premise, but like Jack is obviously a writer, and he like in the actual film, he's like very tormented by his work, and you actually don't know fully if he is overtaken by spirits in the Overlook Hotel, or if it's his work that makes him so mad that he sees these things. And so it's this constant thing where like, is he possessed by something? Where he's like talking to like the ghost bartender and stuff, and like there's all these moments where you're like, obviously he's living in a different world mentally, and maybe he's possessed by whatever spirits are in the hotel. But there's also the novel that clearly indicates that he is actually possessed by the hotel. So it's weird to have the juxtaposition where the movie you don't know, but the classic novel, you're like, you're
told what's happening.
Yeah. So I've always been fascinated by the fact that there's no direct crossover. And so it's just like, how do you actually accurately portray a possession, and what does that actually look like? So I always go back to The Shining being like, when he was like breaking through the bathroom, like that's clearly not him.
Yeah.
But like, is it really him?
Or
according to the book, it's not, but according to the movie, I don't know, maybe he's just fucking crazy.
And you're just wondering, like, you're open to something. Is your mind open and you're letting something in? Like, does someone... We're sitting on this couch talking right now, but if I were to like roll my eyes back and start like crawling backwards, that's not in my character.
No,
so like, how do you explain that?
Not that I've seen of you. We've hung out enough. I don't know you like, that well, but like...
Usually I don't do that. I feel like that would be very impressive if I could do that like on camera.
That's what they do in Calabasas. That's their Pilates right now. Like they've surpassed goat Pilates, and they're now doing backwards crawls. Like,
I mean, I would sign up for that class.
Probably very expensive.
We could do an episode about that. Okay, so for me, we have established I'm afraid of possession. I do not want to be possessed. Don't want any part of it. And this goes way back. So my mom grew up very Catholic. I know that you were saying you grew up very Catholic. So Ouija boards were not allowed. You weren't allowed to play with the Ouija board. If you did, bad things would happen and everyone would lose their shit.
No one talked about that in my family, though.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't know what a Ouija board was until I was like mid-teens.
Really?
Yeah. Like no one talked about that shit.
That's so interesting. So I guess I don't think that my mom ever said, hey, don't play with the Ouija board, like specifically, but she told me stories about her playing with the Ouija board and things that happened. And when she was younger, it's like a little bit of a cheesy story, but to me, it's like kind of what started my fear of it. Her and my aunt were playing with the Ouija board at my grandma's house, at their mom's house. And obviously they weren't allowed to do it. So they're playing with it and they're just asking it regular questions like, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be famous? I'm like things you ask when you're a kid, things that you want to know. And so my mom asks the Ouija board and she says, what are the initials or who am I going to marry? Something like that. And essentially like she was getting the fact of like, what are going to be the initials of my husband? Mm-hmm. So it gives her the initials and she kind of doesn't really think anything of it. My grandma found out that they were playing with the Ouija board and like I'm sure they both got beaten with the belt. Like they were in so much trouble. She had a priest come to bless the house. They threw the Ouija board out. Like it was a huge thing. And so my mom marries her first husband and always kind of in the back of her mind, she always had that story in her mind of who that person was going to be. Marries her first husband. wasn't those initials. And in her mind, she kind of like wrote that off as like, oh, that's a bunch
But
of
that
bullshit.
second husband.
But the second husband was those initials. And when she tells me that story when I was a lot younger, I was like, I got goosebumps and I got scared. And I've always been kind of told, or any story about the Ouija board never ended well. Like her story wasn't anything scary. It wasn't anything bad that happened in the end. But the Ouija board, we actually have one.
Let's find out who I'm going to marry.
No. So I actually refuse to play with the Ouija board. I've never played with the Ouija board. I love them. I think they're beautiful. I appreciate them. And I have lots of them. We have like multiple.
That was like a good time.
Yeah, that's like an old school Parker Brothers Ouija board.
Yeah.
I have like a Ouija board tray. I love it. I think it's really cool.
Aesthetically, not as a...
Yes.
Yeah.
But I am a true believer in that the Ouija board is a gateway. And by playing with it, you are opening that door. A friend of mine told me once, and he said, it's not the fact that it's a Ouija board. Like it could be a Ouija banana, and that was his example. It could be anything that you deem that you give power to, and we could draw something on this table and have a cup and say, this is our thing. And if you give that item power, then it has power.
Huh.
And for me,
I don't know if I believe that.
Really?
But see, I have shot with Ouija boards. I've never really like hardcore fucked with one in the way that it's supposed to, but like I have one literally nailed through the Ouija board over my sofa. Like I just don't give a shit.
I feel like that's bad karma.
It's probably bad, but
but I've been to your place and I didn't feel anything
it feels
bad was
great
there.
in there.
Yeah, it does feel great.
Sometimes it smells a lot of bread smells, but it's good.
Fresh
bread and demons. But yeah, like I have always actually wanted to fuck with it. And
really?
Because now, I don't want to touch a Ouija board and be like, okay, I'm going to conjure some bad spirits.
Yeah.
But if it told me who I was going to marry, I'm down.
Like good things. But what if the risk is you can do this, you can play this game.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity for you to learn more good, or there's an opportunity to open a door to something bad coming in. Like, are you willing to take that risk?
I don't think I have the capacity for them to even come in. Like, I feel like they would look at me and be like, she's very busy. This is not ideal. Like I'm not going to get anything out of her. They would look for someone who has a gaping hole of free time.
Yeah.
Like, this is when we can fuck with her.
Yeah.
Every night after 6. I don't have time for that. Like, they know. I feel like the world knows I do not have time for bullshit.
Right. I mean, I get that, but I think I've built up this like huge, like for this episode, and I noticed that when you came over, you had a cross on.
It is a cross, but it's like also a dagger, and I didn't even realize. It's a cross dagger. Are we holier than thou?
I wore my cross earrings and my cross necklace because in my mind, I feel like even talking about it is like opening up that window.
But I have my demon underwear on, so like I contradict myself.
Canceling us out.
Yeah.
Well, I have lots of crosses for me over here. I'm protected. I am so afraid of it. And I've watched, I guess, The Exorcist. That was my first horror movie. And literally it sticks with me to this day because I'm like, I'm so afraid of being possessed that it is like watching anything about it. I get like, I want to like hide. It is so scary to me.
I feel like there's possession by demons, but then once you're possessed so much by a certain entity in your life, like your job, like I feel like I'm possessed by my...
On a different level?
I'm possessed by my job. So I'm just like, I understand the mental capabilities of being like zeroed in and being like, I am a robot. This is my life. This is my focus. And so for me, like playing with a Ouija board, I don't give a shit because I'll just be like, if you want to get in, good luck. Like,
I dare you. Did you ever see that movie Veronica on Netflix?
Yeah, I did.
I just rewatched it, and it's not necessarily like a possession movie. It's more of like an evil spirit movie, but actually when you get to the end of it, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It is a Spanish film, so it is subtitles, but it's awesome. And I looked up on the internet and it says like it's one of the movies that people say that they can't watch. Yeah. They can't finish because it's so scary.
I mean, it.
I think it's scary. It's not so scary you can't finish watching it.
Watch it on a laptop. That's what I did.
Well, if it's not big, it's not as intimidating.
It's nice. Like if you don't have good sound, it's really ideal.
That's true. So we watched it again, and at the beginning, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is just about a spirit. essentially she's playing with a Ouija board with her friends, opens up the door, something comes through. She doesn't follow one of the main rules of Ouija board playing, which I even know and I don't play with them, is you have to basically like close out the session and say goodbye. So she doesn't do that. This spirit comes through and it's a demonic spirit. But towards the end of the movie, you finally realize that like it's not just a demon screwing with her and her family, it's that demon becoming her. Which is in turn possession. So she becomes, that demon becomes one with her. She's possessed. She does things that she wouldn't normally do. And she's actually the one hurting her siblings when she thinks it's the spirit doing it. So there's another thing about possession is if you watch movies and they're possession movies, I'm like, okay, that is a great story. Someone came up with a great story that is scary. But when you hear all it takes for me is based on a true story. And I'm like,
oh, I love it. Ooh, that makes me more enticed to further research it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is where we differ because it's like you say that like you love going into haunted places and stuff.
I do.
And
I love it.
I don't like casually doing that unless I can tune it out. But I would be interested in meeting people who were possessed and like messing with a Ouija board and like, because I don't know, that feels safer, which
That's
is
so weird because it's like there's a difference for me, but the difference is going into a place that has like energies and things happening in it. You're stepping into that world versus opening up. I guess we see it differently. I see it as like opening the door for something to come in, and you see it as like, hey, I'm just going to do this thing.
I feel like I'm going to let you in, and like if you're cool, it's like who I invite to my house. Like I'm like, if you're cool, you can come in, but like you can stand at my door and I can see you.
Yeah.
But I have a very thick wall for humans,
like, no.
for things, for energy. And my rap music does a really good job of letting it all just disappear.
The key, I just have to play rap music when I Ouija board, and then they
Disgusting rap music is the key to
telling
telling ghosts. They just give up.
You're not allowed. So I did a little bit of research on the whole Veronica thing because it said based on a true story. So I forget the girl's name that it's actually based on.
Veronica.
No, it was something, Isabella, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But she was possessed by this thing. And the parents actually, like after she passed away, still had residual stuff happening in the house. Mm-hmm. So the story was similar. It was her and her friends playing with a Ouija board, but in the actual real life occurrence, I believe her boyfriend died in a motorcycle accident. So she was trying to contact him. Whereas in the film, she's trying to contact her dad.
Yeah.
But regardless, it was based on a true story on the police report that was reported from the incident. And that's what's crazy to me because in Spain, I think to this day, her case is the only case ever reported that the police report. What is the word I'm trying to think of? So the actual police report is the only report that has ever had paranormal activity in it. Only reported paranormal activity in any case ever in Spain. So it's like a very historical case. They never really like found out what it was because they're saying it was possession, but that's not really like a thing that in the police report is like a valid reason of why it happened.
Yeah.
So it's just super trippy. And I think another one that I watched recently is the Exorcism of Emily Rose. Did you ever watch that?
I feel like I got halfway through and then I pooped out.
Really?
Yeah, I fell asleep very early. It was like 11 p.m. and I was like, yeah, this is when my eyes shut.
So I did some research on that one because that was also based on a true story. And the girl's name is Anneliese Michel, I think is how you say it. Mm-hmm. And it's from the 60s in Germany. And this girl, so here's the trippy thing is, any sort of like exorcism case that there's information about, you always have to take a step back and you're like, is it a spirit? Was she sick? Was she mentally sick? Was there doctors involved? Was there someone that was monitoring her health? And in the case of Anneliese Michel, I personally, from everything I read, believe that she was mentally unstable and that there was something going on. And the fact that she didn't have a doctor there. Yeah. She actually ended up dying of like malnutrition and dehydration. Wow. She refused to eat and she believed that like going on a hunger strike would mean that the demons would die because she wasn't feeding the demons. Yep. But there was no doctor there to say, they ended up saying that if there was a doctor that saw her in the condition that she was in, they would have said, hey, let's put her on an IV. Let's give her like a feeding tube, and she would have lived. Yeah. So the parents weren't accused of anything because they said that they'd been through enough. But the 2 priests, I think, went to prison for like 6 years for manslaughter. It wasn't murder.
Yeah.
Because they said that they were basically negligent. And she was, I don't believe she was a child. I think she was a little bit older.
She was mentally unstable, you think?
I think so, because I mean, everything that points to it is like schizophrenia. In a lot of these cases, that's what they think it is like something snaps in the person and then they become something else.
Yeah, because I've had a few instances, and I'm sure you have too, where downtown LA, there are certain homeless people who have had conversations with themselves, and it's like you're like, what mind state are they in?
Yeah.
And like sometimes I think I'm like, that's definitely not a demonic possession. Mm-hmm. There's something else literally going on inside. Like it's like a different world in there.
Yeah.
And so that's where I have a weird disconnect where I'm just like, what is it that differentiates literally insanity, where you see the world
versus
completely
possession
different, versus possession?
Where we went to that gifting suite, and there was that guy. It was a guy in the corner.
Which one? Remember the DJ?
No, not the DJ, the actual homeless person. The DJ was questionable as well.
He was crazy.
And he was screaming on the corner. And
he was dressed so well, which really was weird.
He was dressed very well. So we're like, wait, are you really homeless, or is this an act? We couldn't tell.
Are you drunk?
But I remember thinking, and I know I've said this before, is like, I would love to be able to step into that brain for 60 seconds, just for 1 minute, and understand. And I guess that goes for like a possession too. I would love to be able to take a step into that brain for just enough time to understand what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? How does it happen? When I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, there's a scene in there where she does this thing, and she's like, they like jump up and down from her knees. Mm-hmm. And in the actual case, in the real girl, she actually did that, where she'd like fall to her knees and then get back up and fall to her knees as she was being possessed. And she ended up like tearing a bunch of tendons, breaking a bunch of bones. And what's crazy is she was so dehydrated, so malnourished, that they had to help her sit up. Like she couldn't function on her own. But when these fits of possession would happen, she would do things that physically, if you or I were in that condition, we would not be able to jump up and down. Mm-hmm. We would not be able to fall to our knees and get back up because you would be so weak. Mm-hmm. But when that was happening to her, she was capable of doing that. And that's what makes me think, I'm like, yeah, maybe you were a little crazy.
There's something controlling the whole body.
But there's something else. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in the film, there's a scene where she's doing that. And there's another scene where she's having this, like, I guess, fit of possession is what I'm calling it. And she starts doing this thing, and she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's her in the film. She's actually counting the amount of demons that are inside of her that she's being possessed by.
Yeah.
But I also have this like OCD habit where I count in my head. And so I find myself doing it all the time. Like,
possessed.
If I'm cleaning, I'll do it in patterns, like, and it's always to the number 6. Ooh. Or if I'm like stirring my tea, I stir it 6 times. If I clock, it's weird. And I catch myself doing it all the time. After I saw that movie, I was like, oh my God, I can't count to 6 in my head, or I'm going to be possessed.
I must only count to 5. Otherwise I am crazy.
And it's so fun. I mean, it's crazy. People would say that's crazy, but it's just a thing that I do, and I've always done it. And, but since that movie, I'm like, I'll catch myself counting, and I'm like, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I wonder what happens, like, if I were a parent to a child and for some weird reason I assumed that my child was possessed. Like, what?
Oh, I have another story after this.
What would you do? Like, would you just be like, okay, I'm going to take you to the hospital because you're fucking crazy? Like, I don't even know. Like, would you call 911 and be like, it's possessed by a demon? The child, the boy or girl is possessed, and I don't like. Is that a diagnosable thing where they take you in an ambulance and be like, yeah, she's fucking possessed?
I think that what happens is in those cases, people think what you think. They're like, well, I can't take them to the hospital because they're going to think I'm crazy.
Priest?
That's a lot of times what people do.
How many people have a priest in their cell phones?
I don't.
I
mean, maybe we should get one. We need to find a designated priest, because you don't know. What if I get possessed and you're like, shit, what do we do with her?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to deal with me.
I got holy water in my apartment because I got it at an oddity store and I haven't used it, but
So
I feel like I'll sprinkle it on anyone who needs it.
So if we don't have a priest right now, you have the holy water.
Yeah,
but if you run out of holy water, we need a priest.
I've got tap water.
I don't think that works. You got to get a priest. It has to be blessed. There's a whole process or it's not going to work on me.
Oh, God.
I'm preparing for my possession.
Though. I feel like the bill, like if you don't have health insurance and you need to get like demonized, that's a lot of money.
That's not covered under the health insurance plan.
No.
So if I do get possessed, it is my biggest fear, but you have to promise me that if I do, we do an episode of like my exorcism.
Will I be there? Probably.
I feel like I'm giving you the job. You have to make sure that I get out
the
alive.
next time you count to 6, I'm calling a priest.
We'll film it for you guys. What else? Oh, so you were saying about what do you do?
Yeah.
So Netflix coming to the rescue again. I watched and oh my God, I forget the name. It was The Possession of Janet something on Netflix. If you go to Netflix and you type in possession, it's called Believe is the title of the film. And it's Believe, like the possession of Janet. And I forget her last name.
Yeah.
But it's about this Maori family in New Zealand. And Janet is the one that becomes possessed. But really what happens to Janet, in my opinion, is she suffers from a family member, a close family member. Her grandmother passes away. Mm-hmm. And her boyfriend of 9 years, she finds out he's been cheating on her. So
kill that hoe.
The culmination of all of that obviously is a huge stressor.
Yeah.
She's under a ton of stress from... It's basically the film is a reenactment. So they're reenacting based on interviews that were given from the police investigation. And when you're watching it, you're like, well, this girl is really depressed. You can tell like all of these stressors have caused her to be super depressed. And things start happening and her family, their very close family, decides that she's possessed. She's not acting like herself and they think that it's a possession. Yeah. So rather than going to someone, rather than having, I think she sees a psychiatrist, I'm not 100% sure, but they decide to take this in their own hands and that they are going to perform an exorcism on her. And it's this house with the whole family. They're all in this it's a small house. It only has one bathroom. And there's like aunts, uncles, parents, nephews, nieces, there's babies, everybody's in this house. And there's this line, and I can't think of it right now, but they say over and over and over again when she has her fits of like rage or possession. Yeah. And so what they find is that the only thing that is going to cure her is cold water. The demon doesn't like cold water. So they are constantly putting her in cold showers. There's a moment where they basically like say she's over by the door and the kitchen's over there. There's like a chain of them basically getting bowls of cold water to her, and they're just pouring it on her in her mouth, down her throat. And the weird thing is she's coherent. Like she goes out for a smoke break. Yeah. She is doing normal things, and she had every moment to say, hey guys,
this is weird.
This is weird. Or, hey, I just don't feel good. I don't think this is working. Like she had all the time to say something and she never does. That's so weird. You kind of think like, is she in that moment where she's so depressed she wants to give up, or is there more to it? So the girl actually ends up dying from drowning. She basically had swallowed so much water in her got it in her lungs, and she ends up dying. So the family's put on trial because basically you killed your child. Killed her. Maybe you thought you were doing good, but you killed her. So it's that kind of crazy thing where you're like, hey, this is happening. No one's going to believe us. Let's take matters into our own hands. And unfortunately, in this case, it ends with murder because they basically murdered their aunt, daughter, grandchild, whoever she was to the family, because they were so convinced. And one of the things that they say she's possessed by, there was a lion statue. And so they get rid of this lion statue because they believe that it's a demonic entity that has entered her. Come to find out in the court case, they reveal that the lion statue was purchased brand new from like a hotel owner, and somehow it got into their possession.
It's from Hobby Lobby.
A lion from Hobby Lobby. Probably. He put yogurt on it and put it outside so that it would age, so it looked older.
It sounds like a meme. Like a
yogurt lion?
Yes.
Demon League yogurt lion. But could you imagine finding that out in the courtroom, like hearing that this thing you believed was a demonic spirit was a lion statue with yogurt on it to be aged. And
it makes you look so dumb.
Right. And you're like, what? the thing is they closed themselves off in this house where they weren't letting other people in, because if some stranger walked in, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on in here?
Yeah.
She needs a doctor. She needs help. Like someone from the outside would have seen it. But everyone just kind of kept to the neighbors that would hear them chanting all hours of the night. Like nobody said anything. They're like, let them handle their shit.
I think some people just don't want to. Like, it's like when you hear about the people who are hoarders, or you hear about the people who are like, 700 pounds and they're just stuck in their house. It's like some people like just don't know what to do, and they just try to like mentally block it out. And I don't know. Like I know there was like, I think it was in when I was living in Washington, and I had heard about this like house, and it was like 2 hours north, and there was like always like these crazy sacrifices going on. Not human sacrifices.
Oh,
but,
I was like, Jesus Christ.
It was animal sacrifices, but I was just kind of like, yeah, like everyone kind of knows about it, but they don't do anything about it. And it was just kind of understood. You're like, yeah, they do some weird shit. Like,
you just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because do you want to really be a part of it? Like,
No.
you're like, just do your own. If you're going to go over there and you're going to do your stuff, as long as you don't bother me, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So I get that. I just find it fascinating that people can get so sucked into their beliefs, no matter what logic there is. If you're like, no, she has X disease, or this is wrong with her, but you're like, you can justify it because of something that you believe in that's not necessarily a fact. But
Sounds like a cult.
Sounds like a cult.
Sounds like some crazy ass religion of sorts. But
It's scary, right?
it is.
No possession. We don't want any of it.
No.
I actually have a surprise for you. So this is what we're calling the halftime spook show. We've actually run a little bit over halftime, but it doesn't matter. We're still calling it the halftime spook show.
Because I see it on the floor and I don't know what it is.
The whole time she's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Nothing. It's a surprise." I'm gonna put my mic down. Oh wait, I gotta put it over here.
Oh my God. Anything on a platter I get really nervous about, because it's either like cake or a living thing.
It's not alive. Well, maybe it is alive. I don't know.
No, stop. I don't like this
It's been
game.
under here for a while.
God
so.
damn it. It better be a snack.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get comfy here.
Oh my God.
I got
I'm
it.
glad you're comfortable, because I'm not.
You're not comfortable?
I just feel.
All right, I'm gonna get the mic right here. And then
Is it edible?
we shall see.
I don't like this game.
Are you ready? Halftime spook show coming at you.
Oh, I don't like this game.
Why are you so afraid? You don't even know.
I feel like you are like secretly like insane inside, and you're gonna say like plot twist, I'm possessed right now, and like you're gonna die. Like, I just feel like this is gonna take a bad turn.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you really sure?
Take those long ass nails and pull the fucking
you have to
plate.
keep your eyes open. No
1, 2,
closing your
3, 4,
eyes.
5, 6.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, I don't like this game. No, I'm not.
This is my favorite game. And it's my favorite game because it's my game, and I make the rules, and you have to do what I say. So you ready? I don't know if the camera can really see what this is, because it's crickets, courtesy of Amazon Prime. So you can get these beautiful crickets on Amazon Prime.
This is why I wore my cross today.
And it is our creepy treat for the day. We have salt and vinegar flavored crickets. We have sour cream and onion flavored crickets.
Delicious.
And we have bacon and cheese flavored crickets.
I mean, that's what I would go for.
You want to go for bacon and cheese?
But like, I really don't want to go for any of them.
I don't know if they can. They're like pretty big and juicy. Probably not juicy. They're probably dried out.
This is not the kind of snacks you promised me.
When did I promise you any kind of snacks?
You said if I did good on the podcast, I'd get a snack.
Ashley, if you do good today, I'll give you snacks. So we're going to start with, there's not that many. Bacon and cheese flavored.
I don't want to, I'm not eating these. You know that, right?
You have to try them.
I don't want to.
I remember before you said, as long as I can pick the legs off.
You gave me tequila though, and then I got really excited.
But I gave you rum today.
It's been a month at least. I've had time to think.
Okay, look, we have we have candy snacks, so you can have the cricket flavored snack, and then you can have the candy snack.
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't want it. I'll pay you.
Can you see? Can they see?
I'll pay you money.
Crickets. This is bacon and cheese flavor. You can't pay me money.
They're very large.
They are. There's a small one.
Does it say the calories?
She says, does it say the calories?
4.3 calories.
4.3 calories.
I am not. No, I can't.
I'm going to do it.
I cannot do it. I will
Can you guys
Venmo.
see that
I'll
cricket?
Venmo you
No,
money.
you have to do
Nope,
it.
I can't.
You have to.
No.
You can pick off all the.
No.
What if I do it first?
You do it first.
I'll do it first. Okay, you hold that.
You've probably eaten these.
I've
before.
actually never eaten this kind before.
I can't. They have a face. Oh shit.
We can cut the heads off.
No, I don't want
This is
it.
bacon and cheese. Want to bite the heads off?
I don't want to.
Look at he's looking at me. He's missing a leg.
I can't do this.
You hear that, can't you?
This is ASMR.
I mean, it doesn't taste like bacon or cheese. It doesn't really taste like anything. Oh, I taste a little. Actually, I'm not supposed to have dairy, so I shouldn't have eaten that one, but that's okay.
I'm not supposed to have dairy either.
So you can have the sour cream and onion.
No, I'm not supposed to have dairy or
I just spit up a leg.
I'm not supposed to have dairy. I'm not supposed to eat
No,
crustaceans, bugs, lizards, dinosaurs, whales, and sometimes orange juice makes me phlegmy, so I can't do this.
But it's not bad.
No, I don't want
You
it.
just, if I bite the head off, will you try it?
No.
This is the halftime spook
You
show.
know what one of my favorite shows or movies is?
What?
A Bug's
Eat another one.
Life. A Bug's Life, not its death
Well,
down my esophagus.
These bugs are dead. I'm still choking on.
Why are you eating more?
Because I want to see if this one tastes like this is aren't the girl ones have the little
I don't want to do this.
the little feeler things on their butt coming out of their butt.
No.
I'll bite the head.
No, I don't want it.
What if I bite the head? Oh, I dropped it.
I don't like this game.
What if I bite the head, the legs, and all the
I
little?
want to diet. God damn it.
This
New Year.
has 45.
New Year, new me.
No, you lied. Serving size one container has 4.3 calories. One whole container.
I feel like it's going to come out with his head.
I
Back
promise
attached.
you, it doesn't taste like anything. I
There's
promise.
not enough rum in my cup to partake in this endeavor. I can't.
You want a shot?
No, I just
Look, I'm gonna bite his head off. Look, now he doesn't have a head.
Let me examine him.
You should try it.
What if he has poop in there?
He doesn't have
still?
poop.
Can I lick him? Would you?
Lick him. He's salty. You didn't even have time to taste it.
I licked his salty body.
You're so afraid.
And that's more than I give most people.
As much as I'm afraid of possession, we have found out you are afraid of crickets. Are you really not going to try it?
Okay, can I just say something?
No, you have to eat the cricket. What do you have to say?
I just have to say that my two fears in life, which most people know hardcore, are thunderstorms and caterpillars.
This isn't I know that, and this isn't a
This is
thunderstorm
not a
or
caterpillar, but this is a very small bug. Oh, his leg came off. Oh,
his leg
shit.
fell off.
Oh, fuck.
It looks like a little like frog leg.
I don't want him.
Just don't eat the leg. Just you licked it already. It's not that bad. It tastes like crunchy air,
I don't want,
like a chip.
What's coming out of his asshole?
That's a lady, and it's like where she lays her little eggs from.
That's enticing.
The only reason I know this is because I have a tarantula and we feed her crickets. Look at all those. See, this is a lady too. You want a man that doesn't have the little butt
I prefer
tendrils?
to put men in my mouth, so yeah.
I'll give you. Do I have to bite the head off?
Yeah, he's small.
Yeah, I'll give you a small one. I'll bite his head off. Okay.
Oh, he's got little face. Oh my!
I ate his face. He doesn't have a face. Try it. You're building this up.
Got poop in there.
He doesn't have poop. I promise. There's no poop in there.
More protein.
Oh, I don't want.
Do it. I'll eat another one.
What if I put it in my mouth and I put it back out?
That's fine. At least you tried.
I'll put it on my tongue.
Just try it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Do it. Do it. Go in the mouth hole. It's not scary. I promise. Chew in. You're such a chicken.
I can't. You know what?
What?
I'm a very delicate flower.
I think you're being a real big baby.
I can't.
Okay, what if on the next episode you can make me eat something and you get to pick what that is?
What are you allergic to?
That's fucked up. I'm allergic to bee stings. My foot is the size of a freaking Texas right now.
Oh, I can't.
Do it. I'll tell you something that I don't like. What do I not like to eat? You could just pick something really disgusting that I have to eat. And I'll do it. I won't question you.
I can't think of anything.
It could be anything. It could be like a mayonnaise.
Yeah, but
like
I love mayonnaise.
I mean, I like mayonnaise too, so
See,
not
what
mayonnaise.
the fuck?
It could be. Oh,
love
Cameron says Miracle Whip.
Miracle Whip is a miracle.
I really
Yeah.
eat that cricket. You're trying to distract me. Just do it.
I don't want it.
I mean, look, I'll eat another one.
What is wrong with you?
It doesn't taste like anything. It literally tastes like nothing. Imagine that is a Cheeto.
Knowing that
It's a Cheeto.
with legs.
It's a Cheeto with legs.
It is legs off. Hold on.
Take his legs off. She's rolling him around to like
now
break off all of it. Now he's just a little body. He's like he's a paraplegic cricket.
Oh, he's got one leg left. Hold on.
I ate his head. I stuck in my teeth.
Just eating his ass.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Everyone wants to watch you do it. Do it.
I don't like this audience.
Just bite it. Just bite it. You're thinking about it way too much. She just drooled all over my hand.
I don't want to put it.
It's stuck with spit. Eat it. Halftime spook show is turning out to not be very good.
I don't like this game.
Are you really not going to eat it?
Well, I mean,
she's crying.
I didn't know this was going to happen.
I'm like sweating. Just do it. You're going to feel so proud of yourself.
What are you going to give me?
What do you want?
I want money.
I'll give you $20. I'll give you $20. $20 will be yours. All you have to do is eat the cricket. You have to chew it up. Chew it. Bite it. Put it close to your microphone. $20 is not yours. It is still.
I can't do it.
You don't.
I have morals, and I put very sensitive things in my mouth that don't involve crickets.
Really?
I can't do it.
Even for $20?
No, it's gonna be like $20,000.
Oh, I don't have that kind of money.
Like
I thought you were gonna say 25. I was like, I'll do 25.
This is a very emotional subject here. Eating crickets. It's crickets too.
It is. Crickets.
Oh
Crickets.
God.
I'm the weirdo over here, like eating them like candy.
Have you done this before though?
I've had crickets in Mexico.
See, there it is.
But they're not, they taste the same.
But if it was like a cultural experience, I'd be like, yeah, like when I'm in the moment, I fucking eat the crickets.
I'm setting the scene.
I'm not in Mexico.
We are in Mexico City on this beautiful purple couch.
It's called Mexico. No,
Mexico City. It is, the sun is shining upon us. There's a cart with a man and he has crickets and they're all sorts of flavors. These ones.
Give me some Spanish,
in Espanol.
Baby.
I don't know how to say eat the cricket I don't know how to say cricket in Spanish.
Criquete.
Criquete.
Say
Come
it sexy or something.
el criquete. That
Come.
means eat the cricket, I think. Come el criquete.
Wait, what was that thing that was?
You're just trying to create a diversion.
No, there was this phrase, and it was like, "I want you inside of me" in Spanish.
Yo quiero
It was like
Taco Bell.
I don't remember, but
Eat the cricket. Do it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
What did it taste like?
nothing.
See? All of that. It tasted like nothing.
Oh, it's in my body. Fuck.
Oh, they're so, like, they're not bad. That's what it sounds like to eat cricket. Well, that one tasted like bacon. Are you going to be okay? Are you mad at me?
I'll redeem myself later when you pay me my $20.
I owe her $20 now. I'll pay you $20.
You set the scene too
I'm a
well.
woman of my word. And next time you get to pick something for me to eat. And if you guys want to try these, I'm going to try the other flavor because I really wanted to try the sour cream
I was
and
so
onion.
pissed because I have this phrase that I eat every time I eat a taco, and I say it. It's like, oh fuck! It was like, it's literally like, I want you inside of me in Spanish.
Oh, about the taco.
Yeah.
I was thinking something
I always
very
say
different.
it. Well, I know it could work in other scenarios, but I always like hold my taco way up high. I'm like,
Okay. Crickets. I do have to tell you that although your packaging
I
is
need
very... Oh, that
gummies.
one does, in the end, taste like sour cream and onion. That's good.
Another one?
no, I just
She ate a candy. Cameron's like, did you just eat another one? No, she ate we have like sour cherry balls.
Those balls and crickets.
So do you feel like you're possessed by that cricket now? It's
It's
inside
like
of you?
quiero es donde de mí. That's the fucking thing.
What? Say it again.
It's like quiero
Quiero?
es donde de mí. Some shit like that.
I think you said quiero es donde? Donde is
Donde.
where?
Donde.
You're just making shit up now.
No, I swear to
Possessed by the
God,
cricket.
I went to a place. The man at the bar told me to say that. Dentro.
Adentro.
Dentro de mí.
Inside of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking crickets inside of me, babe.
Los criquetes.
Oh,
How do you feel?
crunchy. I feel like I need something stronger than rum.
I know. I feel like they're stuck in my teeth.
That's what she said.
Any other possession
Not
things?
possessed me enough to last a lifetime.
Yeah, you're possessed by that cricket. Oh. Your eyes are... I feel so bad. Do you hate me? What are you going to make me eat next time?
A booger.
Oh, shit.
Mine.
Ew. I mean, I said I don't know. Well, I think that will wrap it up for us on this episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Leanna Vamp.
I'm Ashley Jonkis.
And don't forget to spay.
Don't forget to
I
spay.
had a cricket in my...
New to your pets or what?
Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And also, don't forget to stay spooky, fiends. Bye. Seriously, how it's stuck in my teeth. Did you see when I coughed earlier and I coughed out a leg? I literally coughed out a leg. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just thinking about it inside me.